Hello, I'm Panos Kotzathanasis, and this is ASEAN Movie Pulse Interviews. Today I'm here with Mr. Boi Kwong, director of Geylang, that is now screening in Rotterdam. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you for having me on board. Yep.
Okay, thank you for being
Yep.
here. So to
Thanks.
begin with the questions, why the particular area? Why did you decide to shoot there? What is it about that area?
I mean, many may not know that in Singapore, actually, prostituting is actually legal, and it's actually a pristine on an area in Singapore that has all the legal brothel. So, like most red light district in the world, it has a very colorful environment, texture, and in Singapore, it's a very clean and supposedly very legal place. And what drew me to this place that whenever I have any friends coming from abroad, they keep asking me, "Hey, I've heard of this place, Geylang. Can I breathe? Can I take a look? This is not that usual Singapore." So I sort of had an affection of this place, and that it's a place of good food as well. I would say it's a place that has so many colors, so many different people from different levels of the society in that place lah. And yep, I think that's what drew me to make a film about Geylang.
So is there more tourists or locals go to that area?
I would say tourists and also local as well. So usually the tourists will go there maybe after 6 p.m., the later part. And usually the local will go there in the daytime, whereby they sneak out of their job to go for a good time there. Yeah.
Okay. And was it difficult shooting there?
I would say I was lucky and also unlucky. It's actually a place where there is a lot of gangs involved in that environment. So before I actually went down to shoot, I have to so-called go and pay respect. Usually in Geylang, it comes in different roads, which we call lorong 2468. And supposedly every lorong there is a gang or a representation inside. So the lane that I have to go and shoot, I have to actually go and pay respect as well lah. And it was better during the time when I was shooting because it was COVID. So all the entire brothel was actually closed.
Mhm.
So I was able to shoot without much interference. If it's the usual time when it's in operation, I don't think I would be able to shoot as authentic as it is. Usually, if it's during normal days, I will get into a lot of trouble. And also, I have got a support from a very reputable businessman in that area. So when I was shooting there, I almost have like bodyguards protecting me when I was shooting there.
So it was dangerous a bit, or
Yes, it was a bit dangerous. Yeah.
mhm. But did the actors feel afraid, or
The actor was okay. Surprisingly, and during one of our shooting days, in Geylang, because the entire Geylang was closed because of COVID, there is no brothel, but we have this nice lighting setup, and as if there's a real operating brothel. Actually, some people actually came in and asked my actor, which they are foreigner, hey, where are the girls? Which they are which they are all inside, which are my cast. So it was quite an interesting experience during that time. Geylang is I don't think will ever be going to be so quiet unless there's another COVID. So it was a very nice and pleasant environment shooting there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as I've read, the most of the events and stories in the movie are based on real events. Is that how it happened? The script is based from real events, let's say.
Yes. In Geylang, there's actually a lot of um crime and a small episode of murder and also some illegal happenings lah. So basically, I consolidated and I put all the story together. Of course, I add my own dramatization and to make the story work. There are some parts they are fictional as well. But all in all, most of the location or the place or the facade, or even like in my film, there's a community called Project Angel, which actually a real community in Singapore that help sex worker. And also in my film, there's a clinic that provides special medical services to the sex worker is also in existence. So basically, I would say 50 to 60% is true. And also for my cast to get a very accurate play out of the role, I actually get them to meet the actual pimps and brothels in Geylang. In fact, I also got him to meet the gang leader over there. So in a way, because Mark Lee, my talent is a very well-known comedian in Singapore, he sort of helped me got my passport to shoot in Geylang by bringing him there, and they were like, "Oh, this is Mark Lee in Geylang," and then I got to shoot in Geylang, basically.
So what was the inspiration behind his character, Fatih? Is that total fiction, or is there someone who is based on?
Basically, there's five main characters. These five characters, somehow I feel that they are linked to me in some parts. For example, I see myself when I was younger as Jie, the delinquent in the story. And when I was a bit older, I was very naughty, and I actually wanted to start to run a brothel. Yeah, and then later part, I grew up to be older, and I got into film. I became a producer. So somehow there is this connection between me and the politician, because it's all about power. I mean, it's perceived power that people assume film producers have, and it's a reminder to myself not to forget that we shouldn't be too hung on power, which is one of the storyline. And also the other part whereby the doctor is, where he will do everything or anything for his daughter. Somehow now I'm in my 40s and I have two loving boys. It actually is a mirror of, if anything happened to my child, I will do whatever I will to help them. And of course, the prostitute is, well, girls that I met in the past, let's put it that way.
Okay. But also the movie shows that most of the characters do some evil, some bad things during the story, but they have a reason for it. So is this your kind of your perspective on people, that they are not just evil or not just good, let's say?
Yes. One of the key message I'm trying to deliver in this film is that in life or in humans, there's always a gray area. No 100% villain, or there's no 100% sin. Even though you have a high statue, even as a politician, there might be a dark side of you. Even though you are a pimp that perceive loudmouth and arrogant, but there's also a soft part of you that cause you to be doing what you're doing. And like for sex worker, they are not here to so-called sell their body willingly, but they are actually a backstory behind. And basically, like the doctor also have his reason for doing what he's doing. So I'm actually trying to display, or rather portray human being in nature, that there is no black or white. There's always only gray. And I condensed this 5-person story into one night, and the needs and wants of each individual intertwine, and it happened in a mashed up collision of all the different characters.
Okay. And also, in reality, what are the relationships between pimps and prostitutes? Are they harsh, or are they kind of friends? Because in the movie it presents like they have a good relationship. Like he really cares about Shangri-La, let's say.
Yeah, I would say that it depends on the CEO or the managing director of that pimp. I have known of pimp that are very strict with their sex worker. For example, you couldn't take a day off, and you're only allowed to take a day off during your menstruation cycle. But there are also pimps that allow you to take off when you're feeling tired. So and also pimps that give you a bonus if you stay more than a year, or it's like a bonus. So it really depends on how the pimp runs the operation. But all in all, I would say that I think from the research and the pimp that I've met, they are all decent people that also have that sense of compassion towards the sex worker, I would say. It's
Okay.
still a job. It's still a job.
Okay. Okay. And okay, I feel like the visuals of the film are really impressive. So can you tell me a bit about the cinematography? What you wanted to do in the visual aspect of the movie? That's it.
Oh, I actually don't have a lot of budget to make a film. In Singapore, we have a very small population of maybe 5 to 6 million. So I was restricted by my executive producer to have a very drawstring budget. Hence, the camera that I used was actually a Sony A7, which is actually a very I would say usually they do it for very low budget short films or project. But by using that camera, I have a very unique texture, and because of the camera has a very strong doesn't rely on a lot of lights. So I cut my budget on my lighting. That is the practical part of it. But the creative part of it, I actually love and I like the texture of the rawness of the A7S. And in the entire film, I wanted it to be raining the entire day, the entire film. However, due to budget constraint, I can only do like wet downs. So the neon lights and the atmosphere in Geylang is what I'm trying to portray. When the lights are being reflected on the ground, you can actually see the texture and also a double meaning that represent what Geylang is. Yeah. And I try to use very low-key lighting and that depict the actual environment in Geylang, basically.
So what was the budget like? How much was it, if you can share?
It's about 1 million USD.
Okay.
Yeah, 1
Okay.
million USD. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And can you tell me a bit about the casting? How did you choose the specific actors?
Okay. I have 5 main casts. So the most famous cast is Mark Lee. He's actually the #1 comedian actor in Singapore. So he was the first in my mind that I wanted to cast. And I actually have to beg and I have to say I have no money and no budget. And after he saw the script, he actually liked it. And also because of Pyro projects that I worked with him, that he came on board with a friendship prize. And to get the film made is Mark Lee. And then the other talent, one of my talent was originally a Vietnamese actor. However, when he arrived to Singapore on the first day of his arrival, when we were doing imaging, he got COVID.
Oh.
So in the very last minute, I have to find and replace the Jie character. Yeah, and then the other actress is also a well-known model in Asia, and after that she became a actress in a television station. She is also, I also approached her because my original talent was stuck in Hong Kong due to COVID as well. So it's like managing a lot of things happening at the same time. And the other actor, Shane Majuki, he was actually my original actor that I used in my proof of concept. This film is actually my second film after 13 years. My first film was made 13 years, and in between, I have been doing more producing work. So haven't been a director. So in order to get a presentation, I did a proof of concept, and Shane Majuki was acting as a doctor in that proof of concept. And I used the proof of concept to go into the different markets and to raise funds, basically. So the casts are all, I would say, God's will. God's told me that, these are the perfect casts. Of course, budget plays a part.
Okay. And what about Fatih's father, the senile old man? Who is that guy? I feel
Oh,
he steals the show in the movie, you know?
yeah. Fatty's father is actually a very veteran actor. You know, he's an actor in the television circuit. Even when I was like 5, 6 years old, I already see him on the TV screens lah. Yeah, and then he has this authentic, loving element that people like about him lah. But he can be a bit grouchy on set. You know, when we are shooting at night. And when you know, he don't get enough sleep, so he will get a bit of he's not so patient. Yep. But I think all in all, we pull it through. Yeah.
And in general, okay, the film is a crime thriller. It's violent, it's gritty, but also there is humor in it. Do you feel that is important to have humor in such a setting?
Yes. In fact, one of the okay, two reasons why there's humor. One is because Mark Lee is naturally a comedian. So even if he brings in a very serious tone, he will always have this humor part in him. The second thing is because one of the pimp that I actually reference, he himself is a very humorous, jovious and loudmouth and a cursing person. So I actually modeled Mark's character based on him. And a film needs different bits to let the audience have a good experience. So I always feel that we need some kind of humor, because humor is part of life, even in Geylang. So even in films, it's important that we have humor. Even in my first film, my style of making film is there's always some little touch of humor in the film.
And has the film screened in Singapore? I saw that it was in Singapore Film Festival, but was it also in cinemas?
The film was first worldwide released in Taipei Golden
Uh-huh.
Horse Film Festival. It was nominated in Best Action Choreography, and then Singapore's International Film Festival is the festival release of Southeast Asia, and the theatrical release in Singapore will only start in April 6th in
Ah,
Singapore.
this
So
year,
it
yeah.
is, yes. So it's not theatrical release, and then of course the European premiere in Rotterdam.
Okay. Since you mentioned him, how was your cooperation with Sunny Pang? I know him for many years.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Shani Pang, of course, is a very professional stunt choreographer and actor. He gave a lot of preparation for the talent, because even like Mark or Sheila or Ajay, they don't have martial art background. So he actually come up with a training plan and then got them in, and we actually do a lot of previs of the shoot before we actually execute the shoot on set. Because of budget lah, we don't have the luxury to do so many takes. And I was remembering I was having this argument with Shani. Hey, this I need 5 days at least. I said I only have 2.5 days. No, sorry. I said I only have 3 days. No. I need more time. But end up, I told him my stuff overrun. I actually only have 2.5 days, and we work around it lah. Yeah. I mean, he's amazing to work with lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the situation with the Singaporean movie industry at the moment? What is the situation there in the country with cinemas?
I think it's a worldwide phenomenon that after COVID, most consumers of content has gone more on the platform base. In fact, cinema goers compared to pre-COVID days, the percentage has actually dipped. But I think that after COVID and after opening up, we are slowly seeing growth and more people going back into the cinema. I would say that we do have very good commercial product. Like recently in our Chinese New Year, director Jack Neo, his Durian film is a very good box office success. So he's also the executive producer of Geylang as well. Yeah. yeah, then I believe that as long as the film is good, it will still have a place in our local cinema lah. The crowd will still come back in, but it will take a bit of time. But I just think that Singapore is a very small film industry. We need to continue breaking the barrel and try to not make the usual Singaporean film that is usually family drama or more comedic. I think that it's time for us to explore beyond that. And that's what I set myself to do. In fact, I believe that this would probably be one of the first few film of this genre in Singapore.
But did you have issues with censorship for the film?
I think it has been a very strong misconception about Singapore being very strict. In fact, I would say that Singapore IMDA, which is the media authority, are very supportive to emergent filmmakers and original content. In fact, Geylang has a IMDA grant that started off as the seed fund for this project. So if this genre or this premise is not acceptable, I think they will not even consider it for funding. Okay, that is part one. Second thing is that Singapore we don't do censorship per se. So it's like a classification board. So the board will actually tell you, oh, your film is now currently at M18 or R21. It is up to the filmmaker's choice whether they want to make the advice edit. So if the filmmaker still continue and said, hey, no, I'm not comfortable with the edit, the film will be shown as the classified rating. So it's not so much of a constraint in terms of censorship. It's more of a choice of the filmmakers or the executive producer, whether the box office will be affected by the rating, and it's a business decision.
And the last question, I guess, any future projects? What are you working on next?
Currently, I'm producing a project, but when it comes to directing, I actually in development of two different projects. One is a project about school bullies and about high functioning ASD, because my elder boy has ASD, slight autism, and also about mental health and suicidal. There's one part that I think that is very important message to the audiences. And the other film that I am developing is actually a story about myself and my and my father, who has Alzheimer's disease, who has passed on. So it's about a relationship between the father and son. Very different from my previous film, but these are all stories that revolve and very close to my heart. So basically, in fact, someone was telling me to do a Geylang part 2, but I don't know. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, this was Asian Movie Pulse interviews. Thank you for being here and see you later. Bye.
Yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.